Hi there. I hope my survey on how to stop obstructing profits with chaotic operating procedures in your business was helpful to you. Did it help outline some weaknesses that you have in your company? Some areas that you might need to work on? I know it did for mine, and I know it's done that for so many others as well. I hope it shed some light for you as well. But I am here to help calm the overwhelm. Because when you start to hear that you need to document your standard operating procedures, and perhaps you haven't documented a single one, or perhaps you've documented them and put them on a shelf and haven't revisited them in 2 years, whatever your position is, I'm here to tell you, you learned everything you need to write a standard operating procedure in grammar school. It really is that simple. You remember those rules: who, what, when, where, why, and how. Yep, we're going to talk about each of those items today and how, when you define each and every one of those components, you have written your standard operating procedure. It really is that simple. So let's get started. Who? Who is going to be performing the work? Is it going to be a desk attendant? Is it going to be a manager? You want to make sure the who is defined. You also want to make sure the who is accountable is defined. The person doing the work may not be the one accountable to the results of that work. And you want to make sure each of those people are defined. You want to make sure any decisions that those individuals have to make to perform the work are defined. And the criteria to make those decisions is written down. This way, everyone can come to the exact same conclusion and the exact same results. It's truly that simple. Then, the who is also accountable to metrics. What metrics do they have to track? How frequently? And what are they looking for in those metrics? It really is that simple. Now, the who, we've now defined all of that. What? This is really that high level overview of what is being done, why it's being done, and the scope that it defines. So explain in particular why this piece of work is important. The more likely and the more defined you can make this information, the more likely everybody is going to follow the procedure exactly as written. Outline key stages of the process. Define each of those stages in detail. What do they need to do to prep the work? What do they need to do to perform the work? What do they need to close out the work? What do they need to do to follow up on the work? Make sure you define all of those key stages. What happens? How are they doing it? Define it in as much detail as possible. If you can't come up with quite the right terminology, don't be afraid to record yourself. Record the actions with screen sharing technology and show and define what you're doing in that video. Make sure as you're defining this information, it is in order that the work will be performed. You don't want things to be out of sequence that will impact the quality and results that you get. And most importantly, what are they hoping to accomplish by doing this work? That helps the person completing the work be effective. When? When are they going to do this work? Again, we're going to talk about what order that work is done in. But how frequently? Is this a daily activity? Is this an hourly activity? Is this a monthly or quarterly activity? When will this work be performed? When will the results of the work be tracked and analyzed? How frequently? Make sure you're documenting all of those. And one important final follow-up on the whens. When will this SOP defining this work be reviewed? What cycle is that going to take as well? That's all your whens. Why? Why is very important. You know, children, they ask why all the time. But why? Why is this particular procedure important? Why does this work need to happen? What does it do? Document those decisions as we discussed in the who's. and discuss those criteria for making the decision. This really digs into the why of each and every decision and how you progress through the work. Now we move out of those W's and we move into the how. Outline all of those stages of the work. Define each stage in as much detail as possible. Again, don't be afraid to use video if you're not quite ready to put pen to paper. Record what you're doing. Watch it a second time. Find those trends. Define the work that you're actually performing in that screen sharing. Document your metrics. How will you record them? Are they going to be in an Excel sheet? Is there a dashboard that's published somewhere? Document what metrics you're performing, how frequently they will be performed, and what the results of those metrics mean. So what action will take place as a result of those metrics? It may become such a big procedure that the metrics in and of themselves become their own procedure. And always, always, always remember to include that review cycle. You should, on a minimum, review your standard operating procedures once a year. If you are hiring new people, it's the perfect time to review them before you're handing off and training someone on a new process. If you are changing systems, it's a great time to review those procedures. Changes of systems often change the processes that go along with them. So build that into each and every improvement process you have within your business, and you're ensured that your procedures are regularly reviewed and updated. Now, I hope this puts some calmness to what might seem like a little bit of overwhelm. Documenting your standard operating procedures really is super simple. It's just blocking that calendar and making the time to make the work happen. But you learned everything you needed to do it in grammar school. Have a wonderful day.